Yes, sir. So please continue.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
we have some countries that we come pretty darn close to giving them our full capability, like the United Kingdom.
Hmm.
We give them some pretty darn good stuff,
Okay.
uh, and there's several other countries that are most favored countries that we give good stuff to.
Okay.
The stuff we sell to other countries is something like selling you yeah 10-year-old cars at a car dealership. Where we're selling. Anyway, as I was saying, the
Uh-huh.
F5 is a great interceptor.
Yeah.
Uh, Back when it was new, uh, back when I flew
Mhm.
it was the fastest airplane from a complete stop on the runway to 30,000 feet.
Oh my God. And which year we are discussing over here?
And that was just an ordinary T-38
Oh my God.
training plane.
And no,
You could,
which year? Which year? Like
oh,
which
that
year?
was 1968.
Oh
It
my
was a
God.
pretty,
Hypersonic
pretty new
plane in night.
airplane back then, but uh, we got faster, better airplanes now, but to give that to another country,
Mhm.
the advantage is that to get that speed to altitude, uh, you've got about 15 minutes of flying fast and you run out of fuel.
Oh my God.
So you're gonna have a hard time hitting another country.
So how about if we let's suppose if I want you to please share with our audience. Let's suppose if the if a pilot is obviously flying a hypersonic plane, how much is it time? How much time he takes basically traveling all the way from United States to Australia? Is it possible in one fuel tank?
Well, you have to refuel along the way.
Okay, and how much? What do you think? How much fuel count is necessary all the way from United States to England if we are traveling from a hypersonic plane, fighter jet. Yeah.
Well, if you the SR-71, which
Yeah.
is outdated now,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
could map the entire United States in 3 hours.
Oh my God. And
Uh,
how many times fuel tank is required to fill?
that's one filling.
One filling.
Actually, yeah, it takes off, refuels once it gets up to a high altitude, and then it
Okay.
flies its entire mission, and it might have to refuel before it comes home.
Oh, so that,
So, so we're talking. It doesn't take very long to get across the pond or get across the Atlantic,
oh
uh,
my God.
but it can't fly that far without refueling at least once.
Oh, refueling at once. So it means that America is now the godfather of not only airplanes, but the innovation in the technology. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, we've been ahead since World War II.
By the way, we are the one who is the only people, few of the, technologist people, they witness that because of us, the Second World War was won by us actually, in reality.
Yeah, and our manufacturing capability,
Exactly.
uh, uh, where we took our car factories and truck factories and turned them into airplane factories and ship factories.
Oh,
So uh, uh, Henry Ford was building Liberty ships.
oh my God. So do you witness that particular era after the aftershocks of that? How old are you? How old you were when that Second World War happened?
Well, I was a baby at the end of the war, but I've read all kinds. I started reading actual novels when I was 4 years old. So
Oh.
uh, I was reading things like
Mhm.
probably about the third grade. I think I read Lucky Ford about General Patton
Oh.
and his history of what he did during World War II.
Mhm.
And I was probably in the third grade when I read that. I was a very early reader.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Uh-huh.
when I was preschool,
Hmm.
my father got me subscriptions to Popular Science and Popular Mechanics. I,
Okay.
I, I'd outgrown comic books
Uh-huh.
a couple of years before I started school.
Okay.
And when I started first grade, when other kids were reading things like
Hmm.
Tom saw Susie,
Uh-huh.
I was I was hiding the novel behind the book.
Okay.
Uh, my first novel, I was 5 years old, and uh, they had flu epidemic. My father was working. My mother had the flu, and she went into the hospital
Mm.
with the Asian flu.
Okay.
And back in those days, they didn't have a babysitter, so I was put in the hospital too, even though I wasn't sick. But anyway, my father brought me Call of the Wild,
Okay.
you know, about the man and his dog, and which is probably intended for junior high or high school kids. Anyway, I
Uh,
read that before I started school.
So it was a really good show. What do you think about the friends? You know, they're just making sure to have their coming the front foot step in the recent ceasefire between the political stability in Israel and Palestine. So what do you think the France stand and United Kingdom is also following them? Canada, weird word. So what do you think? And in the other end, the United States is stopping other countries do not accept Palestine. So what is your take?
The problem is that, and again, I'm talking about history.
Exactly.
Uh, the Jewish people were in that area before there were Palestinians.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
There was no country called Palestine.
Yeah.
There were Philistines. That's what it was called in the Bible,
Yeah.
and and they were a subset of the Arabs that didn't have a country.
Exactly.
But Israel, they didn't call it Israel back then, but it was a country,
Yeah.
and they had a king, King Herod and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and they got they lost their country basically,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and moved out to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then at the after World War II was over, they had a lot of refugees that were Jewish that managed to escape Germany and Russia that were killing
45
Jews.
Jewish people, they migrated all the way from Germany to that particular place. Yeah.
Right, and a lot of them ended up going to Cyprus. And
Okay.
then the British said, you could have this country over here in the
Oh,
Middle East, which is
okay.
currently Israel.
Okay.
And basically, Great Britain gave the current country of Israel to the Jews
Mm-hmm.
that had escaped Russia and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were Arabs and Jews that had lived together for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you get the Palestinians that said, "Hey, we want
because
that
they
country."
because they both are the one is from other book holy book and the second one is from the other holy book, so they both they used to live, but obviously that's called in that's called Israel, Bani Israel. I've heard few of the verses. I got some Muslim friends and Christian friends as well. So they that's called in their books, holy books, Bani Israel. Same name mentioned there, Bunny Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the
Hmm.
a lot of the books of the Bible are in a lot of different religions actually.
Exactly.
So if you go back to Abram and Cain and Abel and all that kind of stuff, hey,
Yeah.
those that's not just the Christian Bible.
Yeah, exactly. So we understand
The
and Jewish.
difference is that Christians have the New Testament,
Yeah.
which is part of the Bible written after Christ.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that's the difference between Christians and Jews largely, but they have some other books of their own, the Torah and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just like the Arabs have. Muhammad came along a long way after after Christ.
Yeah.
He came around in what about 600
Yeah.
A.D. It's after death, after
After
the
that.
Christ died,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so uh, and so they basically copied Christianity.
Exactly.
Christianity and the Christianity was newer than the Arabs. I mean, than the Jewish people.
Exactly.
So the Jewish people had the oldest Bible, and then the Christians added to it, and then the Muslims came along and created another Bible on top of that.
So they are basically making a compound on their knowledges and their religions.
Right.
Yeah.
The biggest difference is that uh, Islam in Christianity you want to make everybody a Christian, but if they're not a Christian, you still like them. But you want to convert them. You want them to be Christian, but you don't kill them just because they're not Christian.
Exactly.
The the Arab world teaches that, gee, if they're not Islamic, you kill them. Well,
Oh,
that's not true with all of the Arabs by any means.
exactly.
They don't follow that. But
Uh-huh.
that's the whole point of Allah Akbar and all that kind of stuff.
So, do you think anything happened during the military time? Like anybody comes in and before you say Al Akbar, and things are like as he pretending or joking about the things. Does it happen?
No, not anywhere I've been. uh, but you hear about it all the time.
I
Uh,
witnessed that during after, I was young when 9/11 happened, you know, and I witnessed that. I was in and I was my uncle used to work in World Trade Center, and he luckily he was absent. He got his flight. Yeah,
would you believe how many people were absent that day?
sure. The
They
the
had
the Empire,
there,
the World
there,
Trade
there were
Center, the owner of that building was deliberately absent at that day.
oh,
I
there
know
there
that.
were yeah, there were thousands of people that did not go to work that day for one reason or another.
Exactly.
And there's no explanation as to why so many people missed work.
My uncle's friends, they few of them are Jewish, more than over 500. And on that same day, they, like Jewish people, ask him, "Hey, we are not coming tomorrow. Don't come tomorrow. Make an excuse. That's it." All he just witnessed that. He died, by the way. I mean, couple of months back, unfortunately. But obviously, he shed some light that my Jewish people saved me at that day. If they were not there. So I
Right.
came to
Well,
know because of him that 500 Jewish people were absent actually during that day. And to my
well,
surprise, it
like
was the world doesn't know that.
yeah, well, and people say, well, the Pentagon was never hit by an airplane. Well, I have a very good friend that was the head of the computer section in
Mhm.
the Pentagon. He was in charge of all the computers in the Pentagon, and he
Okay.
had gone to a
Don't name
staff
him.
meeting.
Don't name him.
We, he was in a staff meeting down the hall when the
Uh-huh.
airplane hit his office,
Oh,
and he went running into the room that was still on fire
okay.
and throwing pieces of airplane up out of the way with his hands,
Oh my
red
goodness.
hot metal,
Oh,
with his hands, trying to find somebody alive that used to work for him.
oh.
And everybody in the computer center that had been in the computer center died. And he was the
Uh,
only living person, and he was in a staff meeting. There's a reason he didn't get killed.
and
However, he
uh-huh,
spent 6 months in the hospital recovering from burns,
uh-huh,
and then he died in his early 50s because of his lungs and all he inhaled during trying to save people.
exactly.
So yeah, and of course he was throwing airplane parts out of the way, but they said, "Oh, people that doubt it say there was never an airplane that hit the Pentagon." Well, tell them otherwise. He was throwing airplane parts out of the way trying to rescue people.
This is something which world has not aware. And there are other parts of United States. Let me share you amazing part. the amazing part is that the world didn't know how this whole works. There are about over 15 planes were hit, and at the simultaneously at the same time, just like you mentioned on 9/11, Pentagon was hit, but yet there are other states. Mexican border was hit by the plane, same thing, and there are other 15 parts of United States were hit in back in 9/11. So the tragedy they capitalize only 9/11. But world has not been wiping out. Still, there is a conspiracy and there are other things. But what we have heard, what we have witnessed, me and you both, from our closest people, those who are not anymore in this world, sir. So, do you
Right.
think that the modern United States, the youth of United States should be prepared what like people like of my own age, they should be mentally aware that this is not going to be happen again, or what should be the precaution as you are the United States Army military part, please.
Read my book, World War III. It started with EMP.
That is
That's
really
my
amazing. Yeah.
that's what I tell young people, and that's why I wrote the book.
Okay, so yes, young people, if you want to have those story to be taken off, and if you are wanted to know the secret of this whole world, whichever the history is, because history is somewhere going to be a new futuric history. So United States has a pattern, and we need to protect our country. We need to be a super soldier in any shape, wherever you are. Love the close people and love the thing. So, any special message for our own people before we go off, sir, for today?
Yeah, well, I've got a podcast that they might be looking for where I go through all of my main books and hold them up in front of the camera
Hmm.
and then tell a little bit about each of the main books that I've written. There's some books I didn't put there, but
Hmm.
most of the books I did a little short summary of in that podcast. So that
And
might
it
be
is
an
already
interesting
on the YouTube.
podcast.
It is already on the YouTube. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's my message. And but World War III, it started with EMP. Something, that I wish everybody would read that book to realize what they need to be prepared for. And uh, it's not necessarily going to be Russia and China. It might be North Korea or it might be Iran. That's the problem. But anyway, uh, something we need to be prepared for. And all your Facebook, which I use, Twitter, all those things,
Hmm.
those will be totally meaningless because if there's a real war, they will not be available anymore ever again. So
Okay.
be prepared.
So
What?
yes, people, please support him as much as you can, buying his book. And yes, we are also his new version of the books, which we have created. Right, our company has been now. His book is widely available not only in United States, also available in United Kingdom, in England, all the way in United Arab Emirates, all 5 states, all 7 states, right? Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah, and other, right? Qatar and Saudi Arabia. He is now we are now launching him in Qatar as well, in the Middle East, people. And yes, we have plans to endorse him in Australia, but not at the moment. After 20, maybe in 2026, we have a plans to launch him in Australia, but at the moment, his characters are now going to be on that. And yes, we are launching soon his merchandise as well. So yes, you can also, our once his website is live, you can also place the merchandise order, his t-shirts, mugs, and other stuff. We are launching him, and a water bottle too. So it is going to be a super amazing thing. Just gift your loved one with the thing, and we'll be so catch him on the next podcast happening on Monday, not tomorrow. Yes, you need to wait for the crispy content till Monday, and we will be having it from there. Take care.